we want to dive right in. We just want to get to learn more about you, how you started out, what drew you to the real estate industry, and kind of how you got started in this insane world that we live in.
Well, my mom told me I would be a good real estate agent, and that's kind of what kind of started the ball rolling. My first job, I sold ladies' shoes, and I worked Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and I was the shoe sales lady of the year. I sold more shoes part-time than every other full-time person combined. And so I think that my mom saw early on that I had a knack for talking and I had a knack for selling. And so then I designed and manufactured ladies' clothing here in Atlanta. And I didn't really like that industry. They were just so mean and so cutthroat. My mom said, Pumpkin, you need to go be a real estate agent. And so sure enough, I was sitting in the class. I never will forget this as long as I live. I was sitting in the class and they said, so when you sell a house, you get paid. And I raised my hand and I'm like, well, what about like your Friday paycheck? And they're like, this is commission only sales. You only get paid when you sell a house. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like that's not going to work for me. I had this small child and I tried to be somebody's assistant. And the first ladies, these three militant ladies, they were like, you are too bubbly. We're never hiring you. And then I interviewed with these two other ladies and they're like, we love you, but you're not going to be an assistant for long and we don't want to train our competition. And so I had been reading a book, How to Make a Six-Figure Income in Real Estate. I had reached out to everybody that I knew. I had 5 listings and I went to this real estate office. We called it the Real Estate Taj Mahal because it was so big and all the fancy ladies worked there. And I walked into the broker and I said, look, nobody will hire me as an assistant. I have 5 listings. I need somewhere to put my license. And she was, you're kidding. And I'm like, nope. And so I started September 4th of 1992 and I was agent of the month by December.
Amen. Love that. Good for you. What are your thoughts on that, Dave? I mean, not that we did the exact same, but you started right at the bottom and you grinded and you've worked your way to the top and you kind of did it in the reverse. You got the listings and then you went to the brokerage. It's a pretty good move in my opinion.
You definitely have the personality.
Thank you. You know, I love people and I'll be honest, like don't tell anybody, like I would do this for free.
Yeah.
It's not even like work. I wake up every morning and it's like, I'm excited.
For crying out loud.
Yeah. Let's cut that part out. But it's funny because when my son's 23 now, when he was in 4th grade, they asked him, what does your mom do to work? And he goes, my mom doesn't work. She talks on the phone and sells houses to her friends. And that's really what I do still to this day.
I just love that. And does your 23-year-old now still think you sit on the phone talking to your friends, selling houses to them, or he realizes this is a living?
Do you know what? He has become quite accustomed to the lifestyle that I have been able to provide as a real estate agent.
Oh, that's fantastic.
He has an apartment in my house. So I have a basement apartment in my house, which is right next to the pool. So I don't think I'm getting rid of him anytime soon.
He ain't never leaving. I love that.
How old is he?
He's 23. My daughter is 32 and she works with me. And my son is 23.
Love that.
James, do you see Sophia or Chloe working with us?
You know, it's funny. I always see teams, mother and daughter. I don't think I've seen any father and daughters, but honestly, I would love it if the kids joined our team. And you talk about never losing the kids or your son living in the apartment downstairs. Look, at some point, I want my children to travel and experience the world and enjoy those things. But I think as a parent, you never really want to lose your children. So if you could end up working with them, we definitely kill each other along the way. But I mean, you can't get back those memories. So I would love to work with my kids at some point in the future, for sure.
I was going to say, they say by the way, Glennda, just back to your son, that's a great thing because they say when you have a son, you lose one person at the dinner table. When you have a daughter, you gain 2 people at the dinner table.
So true.
Yeah. I'm so very blessed. I'm super blessed. My kids, we have a super close relationship. We just got back from the beach. I take a Mother's Day vacation. So I take the week of Mother's Day and I take my children, my stepchildren, my grandchildren, and it's a come and go as you please, no agenda. We rent a house on the beach with a pool and
Beautiful.
play games. So it's so cool.
Love that.
Beautiful.
Love that. Love that. And Glenda, moving to the business side of things, we're always curious to know, like, what are your biggest motivators today when you're out selling? Like, what do you think has been your biggest key to success so far in the real estate career that you've made for yourself?
I would probably say, as the last kid picked on the playground, I barely made it out of high school. I didn't go to college. And when someone is trusting me with what is their single largest asset, it's such an honor to me. And I have the opportunity to work with entertainers and athletes and CEOs and your everyday buyer and seller. Whether it's a $500,000 house or a $5 million house, I work with a lot of different people. And I'm just so honored that they seek out my counsel to help them on their investments and on their primary home. And our logo, our tagline is, we provide the backdrop, you create the memories. And I really work on moving from realtor to relationship with the people that I do business with. People say, Glenda, what do you sell? Do you sell vertical? Do you sell, big houses? I sell houses to people that I like. I don't work with people that are assholes. And so it makes my job so much easier.
100%.
So good. Yeah. And that's probably why you love what you do so much, because now you've crafted
Yeah.
a career whereby you can choose who you work with as well. And that kind of keeps it more harmonious to a degree, by the way. This business is never totally harmonious.
Yeah.
We've only ever fired one client to this day, which actually yes, we fired one client in 12 years. And other than that, I have to say, we've had a pretty great run of working with people that we truly do enjoy. And I'll say we're in the one industry, at least the one that I know of, that we get to be around the most incredible people, and we're like sponges. We get to learn from these people. I mean, I know when I'm in showings with entrepreneurs or tech, or it doesn't matter, entertainment, music, I'm always listening for how they negotiate, how they look at things, the way they do it, because we get to learn and be around such amazing people that we want to learn from everyone we're around and take all the little tidbits that we learn along the way. So I think we're really lucky to be in the industry we are and get to work with the amazing people that we do.
So it was only because it was related to your last point, Glenda. So your mum said you would be great in real estate because you're a great salesperson. How did that evolve into, obviously, your passion for real estate as well as sales? Had you always been interested in real estate, or did it grow?
My mom was always interested in real estate. And so every weekend we would just drive the streets of Atlanta and just get lost. And we would get lost in the most beautiful neighborhoods with the beautiful flowers and dogwoods and picturesque trees. And I remember, I was raised as by a single mother. And my mom is driving in this beat up Pontiac. I'll never forget it. It didn't have air conditioning. And she worked for this man who lived on the street, Riverside Drive, and it was so beautiful. And we would drive by his house and then come across the river, and we would drive down Collins Drive. And my mom would look up at the houses on this beautiful cliff, and she would say, one day, Pumpkin, one day we're going to live in a beautiful house like that. And we would drive through the neighborhood, and I kept thinking to myself, I think she must be crazy because these are like mansions. And 2 years ago, a house came on the market, and I walked in, and it was that house on the hill. It was my mom's dream home, and I was able to buy it.
James,
It was
Let's
great.
go.
Now, James.
Let's go. You think I'm joking? That's a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
That's
incredible.
That's beautiful.
I think my mom saw, I think she saw in me what she wanted. And I think that she said, well, my daughter's good at sales. And maybe she always said, Pumpkin, you need to sell something more expensive than shoes to make money. houses would be a great idea. But she always told me, she goes, "You are a star. You are a star." And she would dress me up like a Barbie, and she would say, and I was always overdressed, and she would say, "You are a star. Dress like one, Pumpkin." And I would be like, okay. So that's why I wear my stars. I always feel a little bit closer to her. But here in my house, I just feel like she's all around me.
Oh, beautiful. Your mum sounds like a lovely, lovely lady, and clearly raised a wonderful daughter.